Hey guys, Slater Magic here, and coming off of the live stream that I didn't watch because I was sleeping, but it looks like it's only 44 minutes, or at least the VOD that was posted on YouTube is, so I might actually watch it later. But hey, coming out of that, we've got some spoilers, so let's just jump into it. We've got Alrune's Epiphany. Oh, so close to Aldrune. We could have had a Skyrim crossover. His name and artwork were already leaked like 2 months ago by a miniatures manufacturer, but still. I can pretend to be surprised. Well, this is a 7-cost mythic sorcery in blue, which is usually not a good thing. I haven't read any of these yet, so let's just get my initial reaction. Here we go. We've got create 2/1/1 blue bird creature tokens with flying. Okay, that's way too powerful, obviously. And then take an extra turn after this one. Oh, that's fine, though. The birds are going way too far, though. Exile Alrune's Epiphany. Did you hear that, Nexus of Fate? Exile the card after you cast it. Are you listening? Nexus of Fate. Ya jerk. Also, this has Foretell 6. Now, on its face, you're like, wow, I get 2 birds and then I get to take my turn over, which is good because I just burned all my mana. What the hell's the point? Let me remind you that you can clone the spell about 57 different ways. So, I mean, pretty obvious. It's only good if you can actually get to 7 in a blue deck, which is, not the easiest thing in the world. It's also good if you have like an overwhelming board state because you're going to get to go to combat and swing twice. It's great if you have like during the untap step, during the upkeep, blah, blah, blah trigger goes off, obviously, because you get another, use of that. So, I mean, yeah, somebody will probably find something to do with it. But immediately in my mind, cloning it would be something to do. By the way, the way Foretell is written and the way this card is written is a little bit problematic. They're obviously going to fix it with like a rules clarification involving the keyword Foretell. But, It says, the last part is exile Alrune's Epiphany. Okay, so it's sitting in exile. And then Foretell says, during your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Period, end of sentence. Completely and utterly unrelated sentence to the first sentence. Cast this card in exile, or from exile, on a later turn for its Foretell cost. Because there's a period there, those 2 sentences have nothing to do with each other, and the second sentence doesn't depend on the first one. So you could exile it and then just keep casting it for its Foretell cost over and over and over and over and over. What they needed to do was put in the second sentence, if this was placed into exile by the Foretell ability or something like that. It would be kind of awkward and be a bunch of extra words. Or they needed to put, this card gains the ability to cast it if it was, put into exile by Foretell. The way it's phrased, you can just keep casting it over and over and over as long as it's in the exile zone, which is where it puts itself. So obviously they're going to have a rule that says Foretell doesn't work that way, but that's a pretty clunky, weird way to do it. But I get it. They didn't want to fit more words on the card, so okay, whatever. So next card, we've got Binding of the Old Gods. It's a 4-cost saga. Destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. A very black-green thing to do. Then number 2, search your library for a forest card. Put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Always appreciated. And then 3, creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Okay, so that's just nice. I mean, I love sagas that are just nice. It's like 3 completely unrelated things. Like, yeah, you'd probably want 1 to go off. You'd want 2 to go off. When would you not want another forest? And then 3. Okay, Death Touch. Cool. So it's not like, Kiora Best the Sea God where they cast it and you're like, oh, I guess I just lose then. Their entire line of creatures get to swing unopposed, and after that they get to steal my best creature. Great. I'm so sure I'm going to survive that with a hexproof 8/8 in play. I hate that card so much. This is just kind of nice thing, kind of nice thing, kind of nice thing. You pay for it, it's an investment, maybe you'll get something out of it as the game goes on. Probably kind of a weak strategy, obviously. You kind of want like a central theme and a strategy, not, oh, look at this would be kind of nice. But I mean, it's an uncommon. Clearly this is made for draft and sealed. I mean, I don't know if this will ever make it to constructed, but I mean, it is a 4-cost universal kill spell. I mean, just saying. But yeah, that's what every saga should be. Next up, we got Elvish Warmaster. Wow, usually the elves looking pretty prissy, but not this one. So it's a 2/2 for 2. And Elf Warrior, of course. Whenever 1 or more elves enter the battlefield under your control, create another damn elf. Great, that's what we needed was Elf Ball and Standard. Thanks for that, appreciate it. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, that'll slow it down, sure. And then if you pay 7, elves you control get +2/+2 and gain Death Touch till end of turn, because why wouldn't they? I could see this maybe slotting into other formats Elf Ball decks. I mean, it is a 2-cost. It isn't legendary. Oh, speaking of that, it's not legendary. We've got like shape-shifting cloners in this set, so oh, that'll be fun. So what more is there to say than canonically, elves usually can't grow facial hair. Next up, we've got Inga Rune Eyes, human wizard. Pay 0, she kills all the elves. Oh, wait, no, I misread that. It's a 4-cost 3/3 legendary, and when she enters the battlefield, scry 3, which is very significant. And then when she dies, draw 3 cards if 3 or more creatures died this turn. This is the second card to specifically prep for a board wipe. I'm getting a little concerned. So next up, we got Masked Vandal. We already saw the art for this card, but I don't believe we've seen the card. It's a 2-cost 1/3 Shapeshifter Changeling. This card is every creature type. So, by the way, not all shapeshifters are cloners. Okay, that's racist to assume that. Oh, they're all vandals, though. Just kidding. When Masked Vandal enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Okay, a conditional ETB naturalized into a defensive 1/3 for 2. I mean, that's not the worst thing ever. I wouldn't play it by itself, but slot this into any tribal deck? Are you kidding me? Yes. I mean, put this in a freaking giant deck. It doesn't look like giants are this color this time around, but, you know, it's not like there's no green giants in standard right now, or in the grocery store frozen food aisle. This is just like another worry card where you're like, it could be every creature type. That could do a lot of things. That's a lot of different things to play test Wizards of the Coast. But clearly, with them marking it as a common, they didn't think this would go anywhere. So that's another red flag. If you heard what they said about Collected Company and Oko and everything, oh, we didn't think that card would really take off. Oh, well then, quit your job. Next up, we got Niko Aris. It's an X-Planeswalker. We haven't seen that in a while. That's kind of cool. So 3 loyalty, but it's 3 plus X with super tight colors. And when Niko Aris enters the battlefield, create X shard tokens. They're enchantments with pay 2, sack it, without tapping it, by the way, which is very significant. Scry 1, then draw a card. In that order. That's pretty nice. I mean, I got paid 2 to do it, so it's kind of like a clue, but like way better, obviously. And people played clues that got some values out of it, so yeah, this is gonna look pretty spicy right here. So the X doesn't go into the loyalty, so you could actually just straight up dump this into play for 3, ignore X, and just be like, I've got a Planeswalker for 3. Oh well, wish I had more mana, but it is what it is. Which is a stark difference from the only other X Planeswalker that at least I remember, which was what was that? Black-green Nissa, I think it was? No, blue-green Nissa. Hey, wasn't there a black-green Nissa that was supposed to be in this set? Or was that already the last one? I don't know. It was leaked like a year ago or something. Oh, I just checked. That wasn't the last set. Okay, so she won't be in this one. So anyway, Nico says +1. Up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. That's generally pretty toxic, and they put it on a plus. That's great. When this creature deals damage this turn, return it to its owner's hand. Deals damage this turn, period, to a creature to a player. Odd way to phrase it when you just gave it unblockable, but okay. So yeah, throw this out for 3, slap it on your biggest giant, white angel monstrosity, whatever, and boom, free hit. Never did like that. Pretty bad. -1, Niko Aris deals 2 damage to target tapped creature for each card you've drawn this turn. Oh, good. Blue-white promoting card draw as a mechanic. That never backfires. While also creating a scry draw card advantage engine with just casting it, plus the last -1 is create a shard. Wow, this card is going to be complete and utter ass cancer. Well, get ready for white-blue control and quite possibly white-blue-black control again, and that's just going to dominate the game, and you're not going to resolve a spell or stick a permanent as long as the game goes on. Good luck, have fun finding a different game to play. Moving on from that trash, we've got, good, Triple Devotion in green. That's what we needed. Old Growth Troll, 4/4 for 3. Trample, great. When Old Growth Troll dies, if it was a creature, I'd ask why it possibly wouldn't be, but I'm sure they'll get to that. Return to the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with Enchant Forest you control, and Enchant Forest has tap, add 2 green mana, and pay 1, tap, sack this land. Create a tapped 4/4 green troll warrior creature token with trample. So it goes from troll to ramp to troll. Boy, a powerful 4/4 trampler for 3 that's hard to get rid of is, green's already a little toxic right now. I don't think we needed that. In normal circumstances, I'd be like, cool, neat card, but yeah, kind of not feeling this. Next up, Sarulf's Packmate. It's a 4-cost 3/3 wolf, and when it enters battlefield, draw a card, because green doesn't have enough card draw. Thank God they finally gave green some card draw. That's exactly what we needed. Foretell 2. So this is what we're going to call foretell filler. When they make a new mechanic, they slap it on something, make it cost way too much, and then force you to use the mechanic version of getting it out. And then they're like, look, we did the foretell thing. And it's like, no, this is just common draft jank filler crap. Oh, I can wait a turn and reduce it by 1 by increasing it by 1. Who gives a shit? I mean, I will say a 3/3 creature that's pretty much just vanilla from there on out that draws a card for 4 is not the worst thing I've ever seen. But compared to the power level of green right now, kudos to them for printing an appropriate power leveled card for once, though. That's great. Oh, wait, you can flicker this. Next up, Snow-Covered Forest. It's a basic snowland forest. So that bullshit is back. We already knew that. A snow-covered mana thing was leaked, so here it is. That bottom box on these looks like, a Wisconsin windshield in the winter when you don't really bother to clear it properly or scrape it because you just want to go to the gas station. So yeah, this snow stuff, it last time it was out, it was just kind of awkward to use, and I've seen people try to throw it into like a commander deck or like a modern deck or whatever. It's just weird. You've got such a narrow selection, which, I mean, okay, cool, now they're printing more, but like, nobody wanted this, nobody asked for this. It's just like another layer of thing where you're like, oh, that's a thing now, just like energy, where it's either take it or leave it, or, oh, look, energy ruined the game. You know, it's like you either make it so weak and try to put it on 30, 40, 50 cards and maybe somebody plays it, but it doesn't win. Or, since it can only be played with itself, it only interacts with itself, and it's only important for itself. Because, I mean, like I said, you either play it or you don't, although, it's not like a snow-covered swamp doesn't tap for black mana. But the cards that use snow mana at a discount, there's so few of them that, you either don't play them or it becomes unbelievably broken because they wanted people to play the new snow thing. So you either get dead cards or you get bans in the meta because they went too far, like with, free casting energy, Aetherworks Marvel disaster, and then they, take care of it a year and a half too late. So that's why I don't like ultra-specific, weird, janky, secondary mana replacement, isolated island mechanics. I'd rather just have, you got to pay 2 more mana to target this creature, semi-hexproof, because that works with the rest of the game, These little pet project island bullshit mechanics that Mark keeps pulling out of his ass, because he made energy too. I'm sure he initially designed snow. They just don't work. They're not healthy for the game. They're such a big risk, and they're just so repetitive and generic and dumb. So anyway, moving on, we got Varragoth Blood Skysire. It's a 3-cost 2/3 demon rogue with Death Touch. It has Boast, which is, I like Boast, by the way. You pay 2, target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. Why the hell would you not target yourself? And activate this ability only if the creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. So you get this insane tutor ability, but they watered it down. Whenever you want to water down a tutor, you make it ruin your next draw. Or rune's a little strong. Replace your next draw so that you don't get the tutored card and another card off the top of your library next turn. So I like the risk reward of, well, you have to swing, you might lose it, but you get Boast. And if you can somehow make it survive, maybe you'll get to do it again, But also you got to pay mana for it. It's not free. It is like the perfect mechanic. It's tactical skill, it's decision making, it's player wisdom. It's risk and reward, and I love it. This card I don't love because it's a freaking recurring tutor on a 3-cost Death Toucher that, of course, they're not going to get in your way. Although maybe to stop the 2-cost recurring tutor, because a 2-cost tutor is freaking ridiculous. I mean, a 4-cost recurring tutor would be ridiculous, but I guess they're like, oh, but what if it dies in combat? You have to swing. That's the risk. Yeah, okay, cool. It's a 2/3 Death Toucher. Not everybody can just stop that. You know how much control is in the game right now? You might be able to just cast him and just run away with the game. Make sure they can never block again. Plus, there's all kinds of, cast this and when it dies, resurrect it. Oh, cast this and now it's gains indestructible in black, literally, on color with this card. So I think they went a little far with it this time. Next up, we've got, I don't speak Phyrexian Scribble Script. Do we have a real version of this? Looks like, no, whatever. It's Vorinclex. We already saw this thing. Let me just look it up. 6-cost legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor, trample haste, great, cool. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, which is just broken. Then if an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put half that many rounded down, so in other words, 0. Great. Can't wait to have that in the game. That'll just be fantastic. I would absolutely, no joke, respect Wizards of the Coast if this is the only Phyrexian in the entire set, in the entire lore, in the entire plane, and it almost never comes up in the story of the lore, and they basically just drop it in and don't address it in any way, because that would be some funny shit. I mean, when they're just like, months later, oh, what's a Phyrexian doing on this plane? Oh, I guess we should have answered that. Ha ha ha, funny troll. Yes, that actually would be pretty funny. I'm really into that type of humor. I actually got a really, really upvoted comment on this one podcast where it's just like two kind of funny dudes discussing a thing for an hour. Very classic format, by the way. And I said, hey, I have a recommendation. Why don't you guys just bring in like a gerbil or like a guinea pig or something, put a little tiny microphone on like in front of his cage, put a camera on him, add him as like a third window, and then absolutely do not address it in any way for the entire podcast. And just have every single comment be, what's up with the guinea pig? That's classic humor. That's right up there with British cross-dressing. It's never not going to be classic. Oh, and I think we all want that to be true, because screw the Phyrexians. We don't want them anywhere near our game. There's two things you don't want anywhere near Magic the Gathering. It's Mark Rosewater and the Phyrexians. Probably redundant to say that. I'm not convinced that he isn't a Phyrexian. He sure leaves a path of destruction in his wake everywhere he goes. I mean, just saying. So next up, we've got probably not Liliana. I would say that's just a generic Omen speaker. Also, she's, blue in the spell. But yeah, it's Glimpse the Cosmos, 2-cost sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay, that's an Omen speaker. For 2 in blue, when we already got the first hintings at, a blue multicolored hyper control deck that outdraws you 2-1, giving them a hand pick, that can go very wrong. And if you're saying, no, it's a top 3 and pick one, what are you talking about? It's one damn card. Let me remind you, Ponder, Brainstorm, I think probably a third one I'm forgetting, are banned in like every format. Oh, and I mean, Gitaxian Probe, that's not really the same thing. But, also banned. Yeah, it turns out giving people their choice of, the next couple of cards and then putting it directly in your hand can really be ban-worthy, because you can get hyper-consistent combos and perfect, flawless Swiss Army responses to everything in a hyper-control deck, which it looks like is shaping up, so that's not good. So the second part, though, is as long as you control a giant, which a control deck traditionally wouldn't, but I mean, there is that giant board wipe that doesn't board wipe giants, so that could be the win con. You may cast Glimpse of the Cosmos from your graveyard by paying 1 blue rather than paying its mana cost. If you would cast Cosmos this way, blah, 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 put it in exile, duh, we know. Yeah, that's what we needed, a way to make it cost half. Great, fantastic. Yeah, I hate this card. So next up, we got Augury Raven. It's a 4-cost 3/3. I bet it has Foretell. Oh, look, it has Foretell. It's almost like they made it cost 4 because Foretell, and it shouldn't because it's garbage. It's a vanilla flyer. If you think it's worth 4 mana to split turns on this piece of shit, then you're an idiot. Next up, Behold the Multiverse. Aris, why you gotta break the multiverse? Okay, I kind of liked it. I kind of didn't, but I kind of did. So why you gotta shatter it into pieces like a jackass? So it's a 4-cost, which means it probably has Foretell. Oh, look, it has Foretell. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards. I mean, honestly, on turn 2, that would, not be that bad, except that you're ruining your turn 2 and your turn 3. So it's actually still kind of shit. But I mean, draw 2 cards, like scry 2 and draw 2 for 4 mana is like really decent no matter how you split it. So, okay, whatever. Which means Foretell was kind of pointless. I mean, the thing is, though, Foretell is kind of like an insurance policy. Like, I might need this later. This ain't no trap card. It doesn't do anything to your opponent's creatures or board state, but it's like, oh, this is in my hand and I've got 2 spare mana. Cool, tuck it away. And then, 5 turns later, it's like, oh man, I need to top deck, something good. Oh, I'm running out of cards. Oh, I just drew 3 lands in a row and now I've got a ton of mana and nothing to cast. Well, then you unleash this for 2. So, like, the extended delay, cool. This is how I'm going to do it. I just sign up for a mana payment plan. I bought the spell on credit with 2 easy payments of 2 instead of paying 4. Like, what is that? On half the cards, that's basically nothing. But I might need this later. Let's tuck it away. I kind of get that and I kind of like that. What I don't like is this is clearly another control deck, enabler, but, distantly, this spell is just fine by itself. It's just I'm seeing this deck kind of shape up in my head, and I'm getting worried because I'm having flashbacks of the last 3 times that 3-color blue heavy control took over the entire format. And giving them 2 extra cards and letting them scry too, you ain't gonna resolve shit for the rest of the game after this resolves. So next up we've got Frostbite. Literally. Are we doing uncards now? Is that what's going on? So this is a 1-cost snow instant. So that's a thing. 1 red, and it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it gains 3 damage, or it deals 3 damage instead. So conditional Lightning Bolt, which Lightning Bolt mathematically was a mistake in the game that they made during alpha. If you look at, every other red spell printed in the entire 26 and a half years the game has been in existence, there is no universal targeting at instant speed for one that does 3 damage in red without a massive downside like Rift Bolt. Or, there's like the card Roast, which does 5, but it only hits, I think, flying creatures? Is that what that does? And then, not planeswalkers and not a player. So it's like, it's 3 damage to anything for 1 mana. That's just too good. So now we've got them flirting with that again, and all you have to do is have a bunch of snow crap in play, which you could be playing not snow at all, mono red, and just run nothing but snow mountains, and there you go, you've got a Lightning Bolt in standard. Which, let me just say, Lightning Bolt is a lot more detrimental to, just Red Winds, Red Rush, Blitzy bullshit in Modern than it is in Standard. Modern's a lot quicker. A lot of decks win on turn 4 or 5, so if you got a Lightning Bolt, that could be, the difference between winning or losing. Standard tends to be a little bit more forgiving and a little bit slower. Although, well, not with a Lightning Bolt. But I haven't seen people run true Red Burn in a while, so I'm not that worried, but I don't like this at all. I think that they're trying to get people who run Modern Burn to run primarily Snow Mountains and then run this. But I don't know. Could you really count on 3 being out? I mean, the whole point of this is it only costs 1 mana. If you only get 3 out of it when there's 3, snow permanents in play, well, then what's the point? That's already too late. So I don't know. It's just one of those, hey guys, I'm Wizard of the Coast. I've got a little secret to tell you. Okay, check this out. Don't tell anybody, okay? It's really just Lightning Bolt. We're printing Lightning Bolt in Standard again. Ooh. And then everybody's like, yeah, but. No, there's no yeah, buts. No, we're printing Lightning Bolt. So they're simultaneously trying to be like, hey, guys, it's just like that thing that's famous, but less good. But it's just like that thing, while also flirting with it being that thing, which would be bad if it was that thing, because that thing's pretty pushed. So nothing good can come from this card. I'm already sick of Shock being in the game, to be perfectly honest. I'd rather have Lightning Strike. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what this does. In my opinion, Red has a little bit too much effective early game cheap removal at instant speed and even at sorcery speed right now. So here's more. I don't know. At least it kills planeswalkers. So next up, we've got a Flip God. It's Alrund, God of the Cosmos. This whole time I've been thinking of a nickname, and all I've got is like Grandpa something. I mean, I could just go with Father Time, because he does time stuff with extra turns and crap, but that's too obvious. Oh, Grandpa Birdo, because he likes birds. It's like a 4 out of 10. I'll keep working on it. Screw it, we're calling him Master Roshi. All right, so Master Roshi here is a 1/1 for 5, so beep beep, the semis back it up into Value Town. Alrund, though, gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand, and each foretold card you own in exile. Ooh, that's kind of spicy. That kind of resembles Nyxathid, which is one of my favorite cards of all time. It's a 3-cost black creature elemental 7/7. Yeah, when it comes into play, you choose a target opponent, and it gets -1/-1 for each card in that player's hand. I might have to do an overlooked but awesome on that card just for Commander players, because that in multiplayer is the devil himself. So I do like the card count scale up and down things, because you kind of have control over it, but you kind of don't. Like if you're holding a counterspell and you really need to counterspell something, but then you just shrunk Alrund and, well, now you can't swing with them. It's this fun, interesting, dynamic, swingy gameplay, kind of unpredictable but not out of control thing that makes games more fun and interesting, which you guys know I love stuff like that. Especially, like I said, if you're in control. None of this, flip a coin. If you lose 3 life, and if you win, you gain 3 life or whatever. That card's still in Standard. I freaking hate that thing. Oh, wait, no, that was Rakdos. That cycled out. Thank God. I think. I don't remember. Anyway, so this also says, at the beginning of your end step, choose a card type, then reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all cards of the chosen type into your hand. Oh, God. And the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So they said type, as in super type. So we're talking instant sorcery, land, creature, other stuff. I'm not sure if you would have to say instant or snow instant, or I guess either or, but then why would you not just choose instant? I guess since there's nothing that says flip or transform or whatever the hell the keyword is, I guess you could then cast it for 2 and it'll be the other side, which is a bird. And there we have Haka, Whispering Raven. So you don't have 5, you only got 2, you get the discount version. It's a flying 2/3, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand, then scry 2. Okay, the old ding and ditch, the old hit and run, the old claw them in the face and fly away. I don't know, there's probably some other idiom. So I mean, okay, you get a 2/3 flyer for 2, which is solid, especially in blue, and then every time it hits, you get to return it to its hand, whether you want to or not, and then you might be able to recast it for 5. So it's like, I like the whole, hey, this is a powerful card to cost 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, but it's in my opening hand. Well, what am I going to do about that? And if they answer that with, mulligan or hold it and hope something happens, well, that's Magic. But when they answer that with, something like this, I love it. That's why I really like the whole, you can pay 2 for the spell now and get, something out of it, or you can pay, 4 for it with like Overload, Strive, whatever. Even Monstrous, I guess I would say, or, there's a million different forms of pay more, get more, but I like that because early game it's like it'll do something, and the late game it's like, okay, this isn't a broken card. And that actually swings both ways, where it's like, okay, why did I just top deck this 2-cost useless card? Well, make it do something more for 5, so it reduces the number of like bad situations, feels bad bro, gameplay moments, which is, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So this card is a god card absolutely knocked out of the park. And I'm only saying that because it doesn't have Indestructible. I am sick to my ass of that. But does Shadow Spear. Yeah, that never should have been printed either. Next up, I don't remember if we saw this one yet or not. So it's Cole the Forge Master. It's a 2-cost legendary creature dwarf warrior. Cool frame there. 2/2, nice. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand, which is nice because you're already going to lose the aura. I guess you don't lose the equipment, but you lose the equip cost. And then creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped gain +1/+1, but only tokens, not real creatures. That's actually kind of interesting. So next up, we've got Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter. Oh boy. And it says God on the other side, so are we going to finally have Tibalt get the respect he deserves? Because my guess is no. What was it, William or whatever from Stranger Things, where we're like, the whole universe just decided it's shit on Will time for like 2 full seasons? Yeah, that's Tibalt, okay? Tibalt has been a running gag in the game for like ever. So the God side is 2 and this side is 7. That makes sense. He's also not known for using black mana that I remember. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. But yeah, 7. Okay. You get Legendary Planeswalker Tibalt, 5 loyalty. As Tibalt enters the battlefield, you get an emblem. Okay, I'm out. I don't even care what the rest of the card says. I'm out. This is bullshit. I hate emblems. The only thing I hate more than emblems is automatic emblems. That 6-cost Chandra was an absolute disease on the game, and yeah, okay, let's read it just because at this point I'm practically contractually obligated to. All right. The emblem says you may play cards exiled with Tibalt Cosmic Imposter, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Okay, now I don't give a shit. If you kill him, that emblem literally sits there and does nothing. Okay, I'm back in. So, +2, exile the top card of each player's library. Oh, there we go. There it is. I was wondering about the color fixing. It's because now you can cast their spells. I'm back out again. I am out of this card. I'm off this card. Screw this card. It shouldn't exist. Then again, it costs 7. I mean, you get to steal a spell. You still got to pay for it. And this guy costs 7. You know what? I'm back in. So -3, exile target artifact or creature. I mean, yeah, you probably should on a 5 loyalty planeswalker put a removal that costs -3. And you know what? Make it a good one. It's not -2, it's -3. Exile that sucker. Don't send that thing to the graveyard. And then -8, exile all cards from all graveyards and then add 3 red mana to the mana pool for some reason. I mean, probably because of his top ability. Otherwise, that would be the worst ult I've ever seen, which, I mean, it's Tibalt. So everything that's ever been put in a graveyard by any player, you can now cast with his emblem. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. What I was saying earlier about if Tibalt dies, his emblem does nothing was like, okay, ETB, instant speed, you nuke him. which I guess they're entitled to hold priority. I'm not sure if that's a glitch on Arena or it's just me not holding left control or I don't know, whatever. But like, let's just say they drop him in and then they -3 him. In response, you blow him away with like a black, Hero's Downfall, whatever. Now his emblem does nothing. However, if they +2'd him, exiled the top card of each player's library. Now there's 2 cards sitting in exile. Whether he's in play or not, that emblem is in play, and it says you may play cards exiled with Tibalt. So you still get that benefit as long as he put them there, as long as he sat there and played long enough to put them there. I'm just wondering, like, I don't see anything that would stop you from stealing people's face-down cards in exile that were put there with Foretold and you just casting them, but then would you be able to do the Foretold cost? I mean, I guess? But I also remember that there's some really extremely unusual rules that involve face-down cards in exile. Like, really weird. I only remember what one of those rules is, and it's horribly relevant to this situation. I don't know. That just sounds like a mess to me. So overall, I mean, removal, and then you get to cast other people's crap. I mean, for 7, sure. I mean, why not? So let's flip over to the god side, which is a 2-cost black spell. We've got Valki, God of Lies. And he painted his face blue and changed his clothes. So he's just Loki. Like, we're all on the same page, right? This is Loki. Like, right? So 2-cost legendary creature god, 2/1. Just keep in mind, you can have him in play and Tibalt in play, and they're literally the same person, and it would still be legal, I think. It usually goes by the card name, right? I don't know, whatever, who cares? So when Valki enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card they revealed this way until Valki leaves the battlefield. So, okay, I mean, it's a 2-cost hand disruption. It's limited to just creatures and they get the card back. That's, better than half the mind rot crap they've been thrown into the game lately. But wait, you may pay X. Choose a creature card exiled with Valki. With convert a mana cost X. Valki becomes a copy of that card. Ooh. Okay, now he's really Loki. If they're gonna go as on the nose as naming him Valki, they might as well have just gone with like Lowkee or something. Loki. It's like those off-brand cereals you see in the dollar stores. Oh, it's cinnamon toast corn slices. I wonder what that is. Oh, fruity gravel. So he doesn't have a way to bounce himself back into hands. So I guess you're kind of stuck. But I mean, 1 costs 2 and 1 costs 7. Like, you know what you're casting at the time that this is in your hand and you're casting it. I mean, another interesting god card, not indestructible. If you end up, exiling a 6-cost creature, you still have to pay 6 to turn him into it, which is fair. So it's not like, roundabout free casting. So it's interesting. Next up, everybody is losing their minds over these. Woodland Chasm. It's a snowland swamp forest, which whenever they put swamp forest or, the actual land name on the, I don't even know, super type, subtype line, semi-type line, who even knows at this point? Everybody collectively says, ooh, it's fetchable. I could care less, but I've had people who play Pauper explain to me that this is significant because you can fetch it in Pauper and color fixing is hard in Pauper because like every color fixer is like, not common. Okay, good for you. To me, this is one tiny step up from like the welcome deck lands. I mean, it's 2 color and it comes in tap. That's literally like the default shit lands that go in the welcome decks, which no longer exist, by the way. So, oh boy, exciting. I mean, if you didn't think they were going to do a basic come and tap dual land that's a snow land, I mean, really? But I guess, the fact that it's a true swamp and true forest, that's a thing that does things. That opens up, the snow archetype to a couple other cards that care about, the actual card. I mean, trying to run snow with no color fixing is not the easiest thing in the world either. So, yeah, I mean, of course they printed them. I could care less. So, yeah, we're straight up getting 10 of them. All right. Hey, whatever gets you Pop-Tarts excited. Pop-Tarts being Pauper players. Next up, we got Sigrid Godfavored. We've already seen it, just not in this art in this frame. So, protection from gods, whatever. Go watch my other video. And I believe this is the last one. Yeah, Blood on the Snow. Isn't that like a book and a movie and like, anyway. It's a 6-cost snow sorcery. Choose 1, destroy all creatures, destroy all planeswalkers. ¿Por qué no las dos? And then return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana cost X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of smo mana, where X is the amount of chicken nuggets spent to cast this spell. Fantastic. So you pay 6 for a board wipe, Or you cross your fingers and hope that a Super Friends deck doesn't counterspell this, which I got news for you. And then, because you're playing Snow, you might get something out of it. At least it doesn't require Snow to cast it, because they know damn well people aren't going to actually play this in a Snow deck. Or I should say, the exact opposite. Most people playing this won't be playing a Snow deck. Of course, a Snow deck would run this if they need it. So, the spoilers today. Very, very, very exceptionally well-designed cards. Very few problematic ones are just blatant, like, what the hell cards. However, remember, they always do this on day one. They take the stuff that they know is some broken game-ruining shit, and they make it day 3 or 4 or later. They always do this. They always have for the last couple sets. So, thankfully, I guess, some jackass got a hold of some paper cards already somehow. Actually, 2 jackasses, maybe more. And they started showing off some cards that are deeply problematic. So, yeah. Pretty hard to get excited, but at least, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They designed some of these cards very, very, very well. Foretold is kind of okay, and Boast is pretty awesome. And now we're all just going to sit here holding our breaths to see how god-awful Phyrexian poison counters are to this set. So, can't wait for that. I'll see you guys next video.